We loved Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and while it was far from a perfect game, its mix of well-written characters, emotional moments, and grounded Jedi experiences was enough for it to be considered as one of the best Star Wars games in the past decade. It was a game that kept us wanting for more. It made us want for a sequel. 4 years later, a sequel finally arrives to build upon the foundations of Fallen Order, promising to bring its narrative and mechanics to a grander scale. Will Cal's latest outing bring a new hope into this era of Star Wars video games? Well, join us here today as we finally have our hands on the highly anticipated Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Jedi Survivor's story puts us back into the shoes of Jedi Knight Cal Kestis 5 years after the events of the first game. Much has changed since then, and that becomes clear when it is shown that the crew of the Stinger Mantis have all gone their separate ways. But when hints of a mythical planet free from the Empire's grasp known as Tanalorr appears before Cal, he sets off on another galactic adventure where he will connect with allies both old and new. However, the Empire isn't the only thing our band of heroes will have to contend with, as a former Jedi from a bygone era has his own plans for the mythical planet as well. It's also good to know that despite all these years, returning favorites are still as likable as ever. Grease is back with that goofy charm that gives off a sense of comfort after a daring expedition. Merrin is finally given that screen time she deserves, and we get to see how she's grown from being a sheltered night sister from Dathomir to an experienced adventurer worthy of being at Cal's side. Seer Junda, who has received tremendous growth in the first game, remains as a beacon of wisdom. She appears less compared to the rest of the cast, but is a significant presence nonetheless. This is especially true in the game's most powerful moment. Newcomer Bode Akuna also deserves a special mention. As Cal's charming blaster buddy, his entertaining banter and interesting past poses a lot of relevant insights about the cost of surviving in such dark times. At the heart of Fallen Order was its character-driven narrative, and we get to see that unfold into new heights in the sequel. We're not just exploring the galaxy here, but also into the hearts of Cal and those close to him as they find meaning beyond a life of struggle against the Empire. With that comes a discussion of fear and loss. We've seen how it leads to the dark side many times before, but Jedi Survivor is a masterful depiction of how it manifests in so many different ways to a cast with so much to lose. Cal's improved platforming prowess has literally reached new heights. He's still gonna be wall running, climbing, double jumping, and swinging wherever he goes. But some new moves and toys are there to make exploration a lot more fun than it already is. Early on, Cal is gonna have to make use of an all-new grappling hook, and will also learn a mid-air dash later on as well. Cal's repertoire of movement is overly familiar, but it's hard to deny how engaging platforming gets when players are forced to string together all his abilities on short notice. Platforming is at its best when it's weaved together with story and combat, resulting in unforgettable action set pieces that draws players into a true Star Wars experience. Cal can now tame and mount certain creatures to gallop across large empty areas. However, it's mostly there as an occasional change of pace and exploration, as opposed to something you'll be doing often. Of course, good level design and traversal need some worthy locales. Fortunately, the journey takes us to a lot of new star systems, with some having a variety of environments to be seen. The planet Kobo, for example, features swamps, underground labyrinths, and even a massive separatist ship similar to the Venator found in the first game. It goes without saying that lightsaber combat is the real star of the show. As a fully fledged Jedi Knight, Cal retains most of his abilities from the first game and will only grow stronger as the game progresses. Cal can now choose between 5 lightsaber styles as opposed to Fallen Order's original 2, with each containing their own respective skill tree. Regardless of which style you choose to focus on, the combat of Jedi Survivor still retains that grounded experience we loved from Fallen Order. Cal may be more powerful this time around, but succeeding in combat still demands well-timed dodges and deflects, strategic aggression, and efficient use of his force powers. All of that also means that the boss fights lived up to our expectations, offering a lot of thrilling encounters and some of the best lightsaber duels in recent history. The game also offers another safe haven aside from the Mantis. Cal can visit a cantina on the planet of Kobo. It's a place that contrasts the feeling of isolation we got from the previous game, as Cal mostly had to visit very remote locations. The cantina will eventually start to fill with the NPCs Cal meets throughout his journey, with some acting as vendors for perks and cosmetics, as well as being quest givers to hidden vaults and bounty hunts. You can even adjust the music and create a rooftop garden. Customization was an underwhelming aspect of Fallen Order, and a massive downgrade from what games like Force Unleashed offered. This was significantly improved in Jedi Survivor, as the game now offers a variety of outfits and hairstyles for Cal. BD1 is no longer restricted to changes in color palettes as well, with some really cute reactions from him as you cycle through different parts. And of course, lightsaber customization is there for us to enjoy, with most of the colors available early in the game. The dark side to this amazing game is that it joins this year's long list of titles with launch performance issues. Performance mode in 1440p doesn't really stay locked in 60 frames per second on PS5, along with some crashes and bugs that warranted a reload. Even utilizing higher-end GPUs on the PC version results in underwhelming frame rates and related technical issues. Again, even if these are resolved in the future, this degree of lack of optimization at the launch of a AAA title is something that we're not willing to accept. Jedi Survivor is everything we wanted from a sequel to Jedi Fallen Order, and is one of the best Star Wars games to have come out in 15 years. It's an improvement in almost every aspect of the first game, with bigger worlds to explore, densely packed content, and a deeper character-driven narrative. That's why we're giving Star Wars Jedi Survivor an 8.5 out of 10. While it is marked by serious performance issues at launch, Jedi Survivor sets a high standard for a meaningful and immersive Jedi experience. What do you guys think about Star Wars Jedi Survivor? Let us know in the comments below. Again, this is Game Made Information Station, and we'll see you in the next one.
Trust only in the Force.